Hello there, you, and welcome to a gigantic Tyranid swarm that's about to go crashing headlong into an Imperial Guard defensive position. We've got about 2 million Tyranids here today up on the field that are going to be swarming over the Imperial Guard. We've got about 200,000 conscripts in defense here, along with Leman Russies, artillery installations, and a couple of Death Corps Krieg with the shovels at the ready. But my oh my, look at that. The Tyranid swarm there, stretching off into the distance, and already the Hordes probing attacks are making their way forward. The deadly and fast-bladed warriors here of the Tyranids easily able to close that ground between them and the conscripts, immediately setting up on that front line and starting to tear us under the poor Imperial Guard. But look at that magnificent artillery there, coming in and saving the day here. The Earthquaker shells here, just ripping up the Tyranids here. Absolutely magnificent stuff, and the gigantic horde keeps on moving forward. It's mainly made up of Hormagaunts, Brood Warriors, and a couple of Hive Tyrants are also thrown into the mix. Sadly, we don't really have that many more units for the Tyranids at the moment. It'd be really cool to get some of their flying units in this game, actually. But look at that, you can see some of the Kriegers there in the background starting to make their way forward. But the Brood Warriors have got to the front line, and these guys are absolutely deadly in melee combat, easily ripping open the poor beleaguered conscripts here on the front line, who are taking an absolute pounding now. You can see that the covering fire from the rear lines is trying to provide as much as it possibly can, as well as Leman Russies here, firing down all they can with all the Imperial might here into them center lines. But we got these probing attacks as well that are coming out, trying to outflank the Imperial Guard position. But at the moment, they have been met by a Krieger countercharge, shovels in hand, ready to meet the Hormagaunts here. And that's exactly what they've done, trying to push back the gigantic hordes. But this is a large flanking maneuver. The Imperials are definitely going to have the work cut out for them. So you can see that they're basically situated up on top of this large plateau, offering them all the high ground that they need here to provide overwatch to that front line. All the zesty Lemon Russies here. I know they're not Lemon Russies, I know the Leman Russies. A couple of people have commented saying that, you know, I keep saying it wrong. I'm doing it on purpose, but because I like to call it zesty fire support, because that's exactly what they provide here to that front line. Oh my god. Artillery shell there, sending hundreds of Tyranids scattering through the air. Let's go have a look on this flank here. That's been extended. So it does look like we've got a bit of a countercharge going on here. Oh, that is absolutely deadly. Look at this. So where the poor old conscripts have been trying to hold here, the Tyranids have come sweeping through them, ripping them open. The Kriegers putting up a bit more of a stalwart defense here, actually holding some of the Tyranids in place. But yeah, the conscripts here, basic training thrown onto the front line, barely able to resist the overwhelming swarms that are absolutely descending upon them here today. Yeah, the poor old conscripts, man, they always have a hard lot in life, don't they? But hopefully the good old Kriegers should be able to keep back enough of the forces here to help them out. Now let's go have a look at this front line, because it does look like, yeah, it's starting to get worn down bit by bit. The Tyranids here, absolute monsters of melee combat, have just pushed their way through the first conscript line here, completely devastated it. And it's no surprise. Now, hopefully we'll have more Kriegers start coming in. We've got a lot of fire support on this side, like I said. They're providing some really good fire here, keeping them Tyranids back. They're a little bit concerned about the gigantic blood pool that's starting to form as well. And look how quickly them Tyranids surge forward, though. Not wasting a second here to get towards the second combat line. Though again, they are struggling to take out this flank. The fire support is being concentrated in this area, resulting in a lot of Tyranid death. And them artillery shells as well, still doing the work, as more and more Tyranids, though, having breached through the Krieger line, they're pushing their way through. They are coming around now. More and more Kriegers are going to join that front line and try and hold this back. This is a large flanking maneuver here by the Tyranids. Again, the Krieger line is starting to run out. They've done a magnificent job of holding back as many of the Tyranids for as long as possible here. They've really bought this flank some time, allowing them Imperial guns to do the work. But look at this center mass now. The Tyranids are just pouring forth into the gunfire here, absolutely not caring about the losses that they've taken. Speaking of which, Imperial Guard, 250,000 kills here. They've got to up this kill counter massively if they want to outwin this. Okay, hello there, Mr. Tyranid. Again, the artillery there working overtime to hold back the Tyranid wave, but the relentless march of Chitin, Teeth and Blade, it just keeps coming forward. Try as they might, the Imperials are really struggling with these brood warriors here. They can take a lot of damage, and there's quite a few of them. And the absolute adepts here at melee combat, easily able to take out a few Imperial Guard with each of foul swing of its cruel blades. But it does feel like the Imperial Guard are making ground sense of other places. Like, what's going on over here? Oh no, the Hive mind has bugged out on this side of the field. Every now and then, this is an occasional problem with the Hive fleet. Sometimes some of the snapsis gets a little bit broken. And that's exactly what's happened on this side of the field. The entire Tyranid army on this side now, completely confused and befuddled as to what's going on. Some of them who are still in snapses here, pushing around the side. Sorry, synapse here, pushing around the side here, trying to outflank the basically dumbfounded brethren. The Kriegers on this side, actually pushing into them, taking the opportunity here to take out plenty of them. They say, well, if you're just going to stand around aimlessly, we're going to deal some damage to you. But that doesn't mean that the rest of the line is not under a heavy assault here. The Tyranids are still pushing forward, oh my god. And that artillery is still absolutely devastating as it was before. And look at the numbers of Tyranids that are still pushing into the center. The Imperial Guard now up to 390,000 kills. It's pretty impressive, but is it going to be enough to hold at this center area? Like I said, crucially, the artillery is still intact here. As the Tyranids now try to push the furthest flank of our defensive formation. And there is a lot of units pouring into this area now. Again, the Kriegers doing the best they can to hold and form defensive lines in amongst the recruit conscripts, as well as pushing around the flanks themselves. But this is a desperate defense now. The Imperials are under such heavy assault here from the Tyranids. It's a constant bombardment on that front line. I mean, look at these poor old conscripts, man. That is just such a horrific sight as Tyranids swarm in over them. It's an absolute... Oh, I love artillery. Artillery is the king of any battlefield here in the 40k universe. That's why I don't like using too much of it, because it just absolutely annihilates armies in seconds. But it is still fun to have on the field here. Oh my god, look at the Tyranids here. They're actually now pushing up the side of this. The Imperial Guard are starting to lose the height advantage. The Tyranids here pushing up the side of the hill. The extremely well-defended area here by the Imperial Guard is starting to lose its grip. The Tyranids are gaining a foothold on the upper area of the plateau. That is deadly, but again, luckily for the Imperial Guard, this entire flank over here still not regained control of its synapse. But the rest of them who are pushing around the flank here are still well in control of their faculties. And they are now recharging this assault here into the Imperial flank. Again, look, this is a brand new combat line that has been opened up over here. This was not under attack previously. You can see Kriegers coming forward to defend this side. The Tyranids are definitely going to have a struggle, though. What will happen eventually is these guys will wake up near the end of the fight. So generally what's actually happened is the AI has sort of glitched itself out on each other. And now a lot of the units are sort of like, we can't path past each other. And then they start getting stuck into each other. But as they start dying, as some of the rest of the AI starts to get freed up, as the computing power gets freed up, these guys will eventually start waking up again and come back to the field. It's just at the moment, they're just having a lovely little dance on the spot here. Look, you get to see some Tyranid midnight boogies. That's something you've never seen on any Warhammer battlefield. The Tyranids having a good old little dance. Meanwhile, the rest of the army here chewing through. Oh my god, absolutely chewing through the poor Imperial Guards here. They've taken an absolute beating from the Tyranids, who are still awake. 600,000 losses are under the Tyranids' belt here now. And I've got to say, a lot of them are on this front line. The Tyranids have been trying to push over the top of this hill, but have been getting absolutely pounded. That artillery really focusing point-blank range here. Just devastating that front line. And I kind of feel like we're starting to run out of brood warriors here. The Tyranids in the center, they don't have many left. So they've got to push this really quickly if they actually want to secure this win. Oh god, that flanking maneuver. Let's go have a look at this. How did we get on over this side? Did the... oh yeah, look at this. The conscripts managed to hold the far flank over here. Taking down a Hive tyrant. A cheer goes up there through the happy gas masks as the shovels took down a Hive tyrant. What the hell did I just witness? That's absolute insanity here. But it does feel like reinforcements are starting to peter out on this flank here. Are the Imperial Guard going to be able to hold this with only 100,000 troops remaining? They're still taking an absolute beating on the front line. The Tyranid forward momentum here has not been halted just yet. They are continuing to pour units into the breach. Hive Tyrants still making their way forward, taking so many losses though. I don't know if the Tyranids are going to be able to do this, ladies and gentlemen. They really needed to secure this flank over here. Unfortunately, these guys have still not woken up yet. It is unfortunate. Have we still got any units trying to push around? We have got units still trying to push around the far flank here. In fact, it actually looks like the synapse problem here has spread further amongst the Tyranids. This is absolutely disastrous. There's probably a good 200,000 Tyranids all just stuck here at the moment. It's absolutely ridiculous. But that is the Tyranid way, of course. Sometimes it works, sometimes the mental challenge is blocked. The front line getting slowly cleaned out now. Look at this, it is spreading further across the line. Oh, this is an absolute disaster here. It has spread all the way to this part of the combat line now. The poor old Tyranid army, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I hate it when this happens. It's just a weird... This is why I don't use Tyranids too much in this game. For me, every now and then, they just break like this and it completely almost ruins the fight. But the Tyranids have still got a lot of forces pushing on this side, so they have still got some chance here. They're taking way too many losses though, I think, for this to actually work for them. Yeah, look at that. The artillery pounding that front line. The tanks are still in place. Kriegers are still on the frontier with their shovels in hand, still trying to take it to the Tyranid army. And you got to think, that's pretty brave, really, to go on the front line against a Hormagaunt like this. I mean, it's not something I would like. But the Tyranids, again, even though half of their army is broken, they're still relentless in this surge, man. They're determined here to take this centre line. If I was the Tyranids right now, I'd be trying to beat a hasty retreat and conserve as much biomass as possible. But then again, I'm not the Tyranids, so who am I to tell them what to do? Gosh, look at all these Kriegers, man. Pouring forward, having a whale of a time with the shovels at the moment. Yeah, look, all the Brood Warriors that got stuck over here, man. That's absolutely ridiculous. The artillery does seem to be freeing out a few of them every now and then. So they're not all completely broken over here. Maybe it's just a few lines of them. If we can clear out a couple of more of these front rows, maybe that'll help out significantly. Because I did see a bunch of them starting to move there. Yeah, look at this. More and more are moving from the back end now, making their way around, trying to get a new semblance of a front line going. But I don't know if it's going to be too little, too late here for the Tyranid swarm. We're going to completely write off this side of the field. What we might end up doing is going to a time-lapse later and see what happens there. But at the moment, we're going to focus on this concentrated assault on the front line by the Tyranids. Because I do believe that ever since they got to the top of this hill here, they've just not been able to push any further. It's almost like every single Imperial gun targets them down, which pretty much is exactly what's happening. The Hormagaunts here not going to have enough reinforcements, I don't think, if they're going to keep this kind of attrition rate up. They've taken out a lot of Kriegers, don't get me wrong. The Imperial Guard here have lost 130,000 units almost. The Tyranids here now at 870,000 losses. That's pretty significant to them. But again, it's all whether they can actually reclaim this battlefield after they've actually managed to, whether they win or lose here. We have still got a lot of Tyranids pouring round. Look at all them now. That is a lot of Tyranids still trying to push this centre line. Want to see if any of these have woken up on this side yet? No, so we've just got this little trickle of troops still coming in at the moment. But yeah, what I think I'll do then, very quickly, is we'll hit a little time-lapse camera here while we wait for the rest of these Tyranids to come swarming in from this side. And then we'll probably move the camera over and see what happens to the ones who are currently stuck. We'll be back in a second. ladies and gentlemen, it looks like most of the Tyranid forces are actually dead now. So what we're going to do is we're going to move the camera over here to all the broken ones and see if they actually start managing to wake up here. Or are the Imperial Guard just going to slowly but surely kill them out? Like I said, look at this. It does look like some of them wake up little by little here. But we'll have to see what happens. There's a large amount of them on this side. Oh my gosh, there's a very large amount. Like I said, we'll see what happens. We'll be back in a second. Welcome back here, ladies and gentlemen, and I think it's official to say here at this point that the Tyranids are not going to wake up from their Synapse slumber here and are absolutely just going to get railed on by the poor old Imperial Guard here. The Kriegers having a whale of a time going to town on the remaining Tyranids here. Now, there was about 250,000 Tyranids in total that got stuck. So I don't think it really would have helped them out too much, considering the other 1.75 million of them died there on the field just behind us. So I do think, ladies and gentlemen, we can be ending this one here today. And of course, we've got to clear the field. We can't let all this biomass here be collected by other Tyranids. So as always, I do hope you had a blast. I know I did. Please do comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. A massive shout out to all you channel members who help to keep this channel going. And if you're not a channel member, why the heck not? Click the join button down below. And while you're at it, go ahead and check out the amazing ChaoticPinky store, where we've got some really cool merch for you. Links in the description. With all that being said, as always, until next time, peace.